Welcome, beloveds. So, in continuation to this session on mental health check in, I am further elaborating it in terms of goals. So, this is a session on mental health check in terms of SMART goals, that is SMART, the framework that we all are very much familiar with. But let's try to put it in terms of our mental health. So, S stands for specificity or specific that we know. But in mental health check in, you need to go more specific with what you want to focus on. Now, see, beloveds, there is a lot about you, right? And there is a lot more that you can offer to yourself and through you to the world, as in terms of contribution. And if anything is just dragging you down, pulling you down, or is just keeping you stuck in a fearful, anxious state, or where you see no light and it's like the end of the tunnel, then the specificity helps a lot. Now, because there is a history of everything that has ever happened to you. I mean, you are not defined by what has happened to you or what will happen to you, and your history is not your identity. So, remember these two things, that your history is not your identity, and you are just not what all wrong has happened, or that your history is not your identity, but it has contributed a little bit of here and there in making you, or the you that you are now. That is one thing. At the same time, you can choose by not suppressing, by not escaping, but by actively working on things to make your life more worth living for yourself. And depression is not an absence of happiness. Depression is not an absence of happy events in your life, but in a deeper sense, if we understand, then depression also could be understood in another perspective as lack of the feeling and the meaningful contribution in the world, and that scarcity, that lackness, that victim mentality is coming from the things that there is too much to deal with and I am not anywhere. And so specificity brings you to just work on one thing and just one issue and just basically one thing, and that will resolve a lot of the lot in your life. At the same time, you are not being abstract about anything. You are further breaking it down and bringing it to your space in consciousness where it is workable, solvable and predictable, because our mind and brain functions like that. So we need to give a problem that is workable. I mean, if you are into a problem of overthinking, let's say, now that is not a workable problem, and the problem which is something where there is no relationship only and it's not workable and so no solution, then you are just down into the rabbit hole and that's it. I mean, what is there in it? But if you understand what is the cause of my overthinking, what am I attaching my thoughts onto right now, and what is the pattern in it, then those things are workable. So specificity helps you to just make this drastic shift from abstract thing into something that is workable or concrete, right? Just another example, if I say I want a chair, or any supporting device for my recording. But if I just say chair or a device, that concept in itself is little abstract, in the sense that what kind of chair, what kind of device, and with whatever I have, how it is going to support me or not. But if I go very specific, okay, this kind of a chair, this kind of a table, this kind of a device or a setup, even in terms of the things that I'm using right now, that makes it more concrete and specific. Okay, so specificity is you choose just one behavior. So let's put it in terms of skill behavior and unskilled behavior. When I say skill behavior, I want you to bring your focus on your strengths and the tools and techniques and resources, devices, equipments that are already working for you as well as for other people in your life and in the world. Okay, so those are your skill behaviors. To simplify it more, I am kind in my thoughts, I am kind in and with my feelings, and I am kind with my behaviors. So anything in terms of goals, thoughts, feeling, behavior, my interpersonal relationships, my work, my profession, my hobbies, whatever choices or actions I do with myself, with my life, if it's coming in this I think kind, I feel kind, and I behave in kind ways with myself, with other people, with everyone in the world, with life, then these are my skill behaviors. So you understood that anything which is opposite of this kindness comes in the category of unskilled behaviors. Okay, so you note down your unskilled behaviors, that is number one thing, and go very specific. So for example, unskilled behavior is not thinking before speaking, that's an unskilled behavior. Or there is this pull and impulse or urge inside that kind of drives me to gossip about others, to blame others, or to talk about every happenings that happen in the life of other men or women or other people. Or there is this unskilled behavior of judging people for what they do and for what they do not do. Or I am talented in being aggressive or manipulating others. Or the unskilled behavior could be losing a sense of control because of being treated poorly or unjustly, and so on and on. And also, unskilled behavior of making low esteem based choices or lacking confidence. Now in that you pick up when the specificity is here, when am I behaving in unskilled manner, in what situations, with what people, at what time, at what place, and where. All the things you make it, you bring on the paper. So first you have defined your unskilled behavior. Now go specific. When are you triggered, or when are you choosing to behave in an unskilled manner? So that is called specificity for our mental health checking. Next is M, that is measurable. Now you decided that okay, I will behave well with others, I will not be judgmental, I will not gossip, I will not blame, I will choose not to react in angry, impulsive way, but in a more calmer sense. But how do you know that how much well you are behaving, right? So we need to have an objective measurement of it. So you, along with what you have written on the first, in your first session with your behavior, how are you going to measure it? So feedback from others, the ones who you can trust to, and even with whom you can share these goals. Who knows, they may also join you. So seek feedback from others. That is one way. and be open to the feedback and to whatever comes in. At the same time, very smart, intelligent, and discriminative about what to take in and what to purge out. That is important. Okay, so seeking feedback from others is one thing to measure your own unskilled behavior. Second, very, very important, and your eternal companion, your breath. Okay, now whenever you are behaving in an unskilled way towards yourself or towards others, your breath is not in its own rhythm, in its own pattern. It's very restless, very incongruent, a lot of mismatch and struggle within. But if after being aware and behaving differently, you are changing, your breath you will see that your breath is more calmer. And the second eternal companion, your feelings. See how earlier, just by reacting angrily on others, you think that, oh, my anger is finally out, now I'm feeling great. No, you have never felt great by yelling out to someone. There is still a lot of thing inside you, plus damage in the relationship as well. But this time you chose not to get angry, not to damage it further. Then your breath and your feelings are the way again to measure. So seeking feedback from others, noticing and becoming aware of your breath and your feelings. And third, see what all consequences it is creating for you and the other person, and note it down. That's how you will see the change and in fact progress in your own life, in your own sleep, in your own patterns on the inside, that intrapersonal reality as well as interpersonal reality. Okay, next is A, which is achievable. Now don't get overly excited and enthusiastic about the thing that, oh, I am on my healing journey, now my life will be finally set and I can just put it in one box and in one pocket, and things like in Disney. Although I love Disney, but yeah, like happily forever. Well, that's not the thing. It's not linear. Okay, it's non-linear. There is ups and downs. But the achievable part here is that you are taking small steps and not judging yourself or even others about this process or the progress or the outcome, and at the same time make it to the point where it is a small, like you are creating small wins for you. Achievable means you are actually creating and recording those small wins for you, and not just, oh, I have taken all control over my anger, or I have 100% confidence, now I can win over everything and everyone. No, that's not the goal. Or I have entirely stopped blaming and not gossiping, and suddenly I have become the saint of this time, and I'm just totally into what God has been teaching and His message, and suddenly this world is just a transcendent for me. No, don't go that way. that could be too much. But the point is achievable, as in focus on the small wins that you are creating and recorded. So if today, let's say you had an impulse to be unkind to someone in whatever ways, unkind to someone, and you got this hint, oh, let me just stop. No, this is not the way. You just take a pause. That also is a big win. And then slowly you have overcome it. So keep small wins as a record in your achievable thing. R stands for relevance. Now relevance here, for our mental health check-in, we will see that what has worked for us, with what people, with what situations, with what interaction, and what has not worked well. So again, No blaming yourself, no judgment towards yourself or to others, but just understanding this is what has worked, this is what that has not worked. Now, relevance means in your diary, as you are writing this S, M, A, and now R, and your skill and unskilled behaviors, that is focusing on your unkind thoughts, unkind feelings, and unkind behaviors. I have made it very simple. So, relevance means any tools, any techniques, any behavior, any thought, any condition that actually has worked for you in overcoming that unskilled or unkind behavior, that tool and technique, you write it down and see more you focus on that to help yourself. That is relevance. And last T, timely or time. Now, scriptures or the Bhagavad Gita explains about the kal, the time, in a most beautiful way, but understand things here in terms of permanence as well as impermanence, so that the time in itself is not fixed, it's not static, but everything is moving, and so are you, my beloved. Also understand the availability and the situations and certain things in which you can do certain things, and in at other times with the circumstances you may not be able to do. But the point is that don't judge yourself or the outcome in terms of time, because as in don't judge your success or failure in changing yourself, meaning in changing your unskilled behavior, just in terms of time. So at times things will work for you, and other times you will feel like, oh, I thought I have just healed myself completely, and here again I am in the same situation, same kind of toxic pattern, unsustainable friendship, betrayal, disappointment, trust issues, commitment issues from other people, another failure. Does this mean that I never really worked properly on myself? Does this mean that things has like never been good, or have I failed entirely? So all these are again on the extreme sides, and it's traps. Okay, don't get caught into these traps. You are much more and above all of these things, because after all it's you who is working on these things and trying to make things work for you, right? So time and also so this time, things work, things don't work, you keep on trying, because you have the power of making choices, you have the free will, you have the awareness, you are observant, and you have the power of your choices. Keeping in time or keeping the frame of time, the second part, understand that I can always make better choices, since the time, my beloved, is not fixed, it's not static, it's moving, and it's moving forward. That's the wonderful thing. We are not going this way, we are always moving in the forward direction. So there is always an opportunity for you to practice more of kindness and more of skilled behaviors than the opposite of it. So keep these SMART goals for your mental health check-in, and let me know in what ways it has served you as well as others. Thank you so much.